What we're aiming for is trying to encourage people who may be going to the beach or the east side, and people who are staying in hotels to grab a Redibike and use it as a means of travel and transport. We've also decreased the prices to 50 pence a day. There used to be £1, and before that there was £2 at inception. So it's 50p a day, and you can use the bicycle as many times as you want during the day for up to an hour. When we started the scheme, it used to be 20 minutes, and we were targeting the commuter primarily, but now we are choosing to allow extra time in case people want to use it for recreational use, to go have a cycle around Gibraltar, the visitor, the locals, etc.
So it's 50p for the first hour, and if they don't want to dock it and they want to carry on using that bicycle, it would be 50p for every hour thereafter.
That's right. I mean, there shouldn't really be a need to use a bicycle for more than an hour. But if a person wishes to cycle for 2 hours, or even go and do chores in town or go for a meal, which they're perfectly able to do it, and they can use their padlock for that purpose, then the cost for a 2-hour rental would be £1, 50p for the first hour and 50p for the second hour.
What's the thinking behind placing stations at Catalan Bay, Eastern Beach and the Eliott Hotel?
Right, hotels I think are an important place to target, because we have seen, especially in the first year, when there have been a number of conferences in Gibraltar from the hotels, we've seen a massive spike in usage. We've seen up to 400 users a month. And that's extremely good. So the idea is to try to encourage people who stay in hotels, who may want to get to places, who may want to just have an explore, as you may want to do when you're on holiday. You might not want to catch a bus, you may not want to walk. Bicycles is an ideal vehicle to be able to explore and have a look at the real Gibraltar. So that's the idea behind that. And also it's trying to get bicycles and users to get to places on the east side of Gibraltar, where our beaches are, especially in the summertime. So it's important for us to launch now, in midsummer, to see whether we can, encourage people to use them for beach.
If we look back at Redibike's first 12 months, we've seen an average of 4 to 5 journeys per day. It's not very much. You must be disappointed.
Clearly I would have loved to see more uptake. I'm satisfied that people are coming back. There's been around, statistically, we've heard about around 800 to 900 people registering on the scheme, but not all of those persons have actually become active users. Obviously, when you start a scheme, people will join just to be part of it, and then they may never take up the bicycle. But around 460 persons have taken up cycling. People are repeating, they're coming back, and they're using the bicycle more. So I think that is very, very positive. Clearly, I'm not satisfied. I'll never be satisfied, because I think I really won't stop until I see cycling becoming more mainstay in Gibraltar as a mode of transport. So this is why phase 2 has come along, and if there needs to be a phase 3 and so forth, because I think regardless of usage, I think there's a need to have the alternative. People need to have another option when they're getting in places. Most people will buy their own bikes because it can be something more personal. You use yourself. They're not that expensive these days. So, but as long as people are cycling, that doesn't really matter whether they are using the Redibikes or not. So Redibikes is geared for people who may want to try cycling, people who are visiting, who don't have their own bicycle, people who just want to say, well, let's see whether it works for me or not. And as we develop more cycle lanes in the future, people then user confidence will hopefully increase as well, because there's many reasons why people may not be willing to practice cycling as a means of transport. And it could be, one could be expense, one could be the inconvenience of short rental periods, and one could be just being afraid or being not confident on use of roads. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to reduce the reasons why they don't come back more often. And I think one of the most important ones is price. I think now for 50 pence a day, I think it's very, very affordable for anybody who really wants to see alternative modes of transport be adopted, because it's good for the environment, because it's good for your health. I don't think we'll ever be satisfied in that respect until we see Gibraltar buzzing with bicycles.
So in short, do you think that Redibikes will be here for years to come?
It's hard to say. I think because bicycles are so cheap, locals will generally tend to buy their own. So I think that the move in phase 2 of taking bicycles to hotels, I think that is a good move. I think we will find, especially with conference, and I'm pretty sure that when the Island Games comes along, there'll be a lot of people wishing to use Redibikes then. So I think it's a question of who uses them and how best to focus and target on those people who will use them. But I think there's a need to have a scheme, bicycle sharing scheme in Gibraltar. But I think time will tell us, as bicycle lanes become more mainstay, I think hopefully people will take up the offering better.